it's hard to be sad while being in another country. Living in another country is not easy. There's a lot of like layers to it. It can be hard and challenging and frustrating to be there and not be in the best headspace. That's just been another challenge, is just like trying to let go of whatever expectation I had about what it was gonna look like to live abroad. Living a life as a Christian, as a believer, that this is just kind of like a part of it. You have to like go through rough seasons in order to like strengthen your faith. I'm not making moves and decisions out of emotion. That's what like I'm really trying to learn this season. But I also don't want to move home. But I barely want to stay here at this point. Okay, hi guys. I should have got some water before I sat down. Hi guys. What's up? Just wanted to make a video today talking about kind of how I've been feeling lately, just in life and also like being in Mexico. With this channel, I really want to make sure that I am documenting my full experience, my full journey, and in like the most realistic way possible. And so in doing that, I want to make sure that like I document and talk about the seasons of my journey that like aren't as great, because I never want to give off like this false impression or whatever that like my life is great and like I have no worries, because that's not true at all. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this video talking about some of the things I've been going through and experiencing lately. And I apologize if it's a little like chaotic. I didn't really like have a plan for recording this. I kind of just decided that I wanted to record it. So yeah, bear with me. I'm sorry if it's like not super organized or whatever. But yeah, so really the past couple months I've been really struggling being here in Mexico and just like struggling in life. Like I think I would still be struggling if I wasn't in Mexico, but the layer of like being in Mexico definitely like heightens all of the things I'm struggling with. But basically, for those who may not know, I decided to come to Mexico back in February. So what are we in now? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Whoa, wait. Yeah, 6 months ago. I decided to come to Mexico 6 months ago. And at that point, I was really just in my stage of like wanting to travel. So I just graduated from college last year in 2022, and I was an international studies major, and I had just decided that after graduating I wanted to travel for a little while. One, because I didn't get to do like stay abroad or whatever during COVID, but two, just like it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I wanted to do it instead of pushing it off, because I know like if I would have pushed it off I might have not ended up doing it until much later. So I just made the decision to travel after I graduated. I saved up money, and so that's basically what I've been doing since I graduated. I was in Italy for 3 months working as an au pair, and after I left Italy I was just like praying about where God would want me to go next. I knew that I wanted to do somewhere in Latin America because I really did want to work on my Spanish, and I also wanted to be a little bit closer to home, because in case I like wanted to go back and forth, that's not very feasible to do if I was like in Europe or like somewhere far. So I knew that I wanted to be a little bit closer to home and somewhere that wasn't super expensive. So I heard a lot of good things about Mexico City. I had prayed about it and basically just was led to come here. So I came here back in February, and when I came, I really only intended to be here for about 3 months. So I was thinking I would be here until like the beginning of the summer and then figure something else out. Initially I kind of wanted to travel around Latin America a little bit more, maybe do like Worldpackers or something, and also continuing with YouTube. But my mission for coming to Mexico was to, one, like start up my YouTube channel. I started up once I got here, so like I took the time to start recording and like learning how to edit and everything when I first got here. And the other thing that like I really prayed for was I prayed for a church community, because I've really, this past like probably year and a half, I've been really intentional about like building a relationship with God and like strengthening my faith. And so I was doing that on my own before coming here to Mexico, but before coming here I was praying for a community to just, a church community to be able to like strengthen my faith and all of that stuff. And so God answered that prayer. Like literally the first week I got to Mexico, I found the church that I'm attending now. I found it on Facebook before I came, but I went to the church the week that I got here, and then started building connections within the church, like basically that first week that I got into Mexico City. And yeah, really like got deeply involved with the church in a way that like I didn't expect to, but I am grateful for. But yeah, so like since I found the church right when I got here, a lot of my life in Mexico ended up being centered around the church, which is great. It's what I prayed for. I've learned a lot more about God. I've learned a lot more about like his word and about ministry and just like what it means to be a part of the kingdom. So I am really grateful for that. And because like God led me here and like he answered my prayer in that way, I made the decision to stay longer, because one part of like being Christian and like really like choosing to follow God is, well, for me that means like consulting God and praying to God about where he wants me to go next, what he wants me to do next. I don't want to make decisions for my life and not consult God, because I don't ever want to like go somewhere where God isn't. And I want to be in alignment with the plan that he has for my life and not be like so antsy and like in a rush to like do certain things without consulting him, basically. So that's, I don't know if that was a good explanation. And so yeah, I decided to stay a little bit longer, continue to strengthen my faith, and just continue to like figure out what I can get from being here in Mexico. I still really haven't like, I've improved in my Spanish. I won't say I haven't improved, but I still haven't like gotten to a level that I thought I would be at in my Spanish. And also another reason why I chose to come to Mexico was because of the creative spaces here. I knew that I wanted to like start getting into like videography and like editing and all that stuff. So that's another reason why I came to Mexico, and I haven't really dived into those spaces yet. And so I feel like there's still a lot for me to gain from being here. But because this wasn't a part of my plan, and because a lot of things have changed here in Mexico, it's just been a little bit difficult and a little like challenging and really like sad for me being here. Again, for a lot of reasons. Let's see. So really I started feeling like this sadness here probably when I got back from visiting home. So that was, when was that? Like maybe August or July, one of those. Whenever I got back from visiting home, that's really when like the sadness started kicking in. One of the reasons for that was a change in like my friendship relationship that I had developed when I first got here. One of like my closer friends that I had here left Mexico, and so that was really hard for me because a lot of what I did in Mexico before like involved her, and so like she was somebody that I saw a lot and hung out with a lot, and so with her being gone, it was really like hard for me to just find a connection like that again. And then another person that I hung out with a lot, she has been like busy with stuff, so like I haven't seen her as much as I did again when I first got here. And so a lot of like those friendship and also like any friends or whatever that I might have found like staying at my hostel like whatever weren't here anymore. Like a lot of people, there's not a lot of people who are staying here, or at least a lot of people that I had met who were staying in Mexico City long term. And so I had lost a lot of like those friendships and like connections that I had when I first got here that made Mexico feel a little bit more like home and a little bit more just like familiar. And that also relates to like my experience in church, because those connections that I had were also in church, and so they made church a little bit more enjoyable for me, a little bit more comfortable. I just connect with, sometimes it's hard for me to connect with people, and you connect with everybody differently, you know, so it's just losing those like two connections within church made it difficult for me to even like be in church. Like my feelings about being in this church changed a lot. Like I found myself being sad at church events, whereas a couple months ago when I would go to church, I would be like super like filled and like super fulfilled once I left. And losing like those close connections in church definitely like affected my feelings about church. And so that's been hard too, like having something that was once like a place of again, just like fulfillment and excitement. I was super excited about like finding the church community. I loved going to stuff, and so going from like loving it to feeling very just like out of water, or like not as connected anymore, that was hard. And it still is hard. It's still something that like I'm just trying to navigate. So yeah, that's one aspect. I feel like I'm all over the place in this, so I'm really sorry. I'm trying to like explain the best that I can. I feel like I need to like start this over. But another layer of it is just life. I feel very lost. I don't even feel lost. Or maybe I do. I just don't know what direction to like turn when it comes to like, okay, what am I working towards? And I feel like I've explained this before. I have different dreams and like visions for myself. I really do want to get into videography and telling stories and traveling with that, like telling stories around the world. And I would love to like also just like incorporate really just like my goal and my vision for myself is traveling, doing videography, storytelling, and just like documenting and showcasing like the different ways that God moves in people's lives, but like around the world. And so that's like my big dream. And the problem with that is that I need money to do it. And I need to like bring my skill level up to a point where people are willing to pay me for that. And it's not there yet. I'm still like trying to get practice and stuff. So yeah, that's like my big dream, you know? And I don't know, I guess I'm like, I don't know what the things to do to like get there. And okay, now let me backtrack. The other thing that I'm struggling with is just trying to just figure out why I'm still in Mexico. As I mentioned, I am at a point where I want to make sure that I am moving with God and not just moving on my own desire and stuff, because I know that God knows more about my life and than I do. He knows more about the plans that he has for my life than I do. He understands why he has me here. And so I've been praying a lot. I've just been praying that he reveals to me why he wants me here, because I don't see it. I don't understand it. And if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't still be here. But I don't want to be somebody who like moves on my emotions and who just moves on my emotions because things get a little bit hard. So I've been praying about that too, because I just don't understand it. And I feel like, I don't know if I feel like I'm wasting my time being here. I don't know. But I don't understand it, and I really just need something to fill my time. For one, I wake up every day and I'm kind of like aimless. I have, sometimes I have things scheduled, but like most of the time I really don't. And I miss having a little bit more structure in my life. And I miss like working towards something. Now I feel like I've kind of like gotten YouTube. I've gotten more familiar with YouTube, and so that was my focus when I first got here, but I don't need to focus that much on it anymore. And so I do dedicate a lot of time to like church stuff, but I really want something, I don't know, I just really want to be working towards something, and I just need more things to like fill my day and to like build on if God does want me to like stay here. And so that's been one thing that's been challenging. It's just like I don't feel like I'm doing anything here. I don't do much. Like I said before, I don't really have a lot of people to like hang out with. I have my church people, but like it's just like when it comes to just like hanging out, I don't have like those people to go hang out with. And I'm also not like a big partier or a big drinker, and so I don't go to events like that to meet people or hang out because it's just not my environment. That's not like my scene. And yeah, honestly, I just don't really have a lot of people to just go and hang out with. And so that's a challenge because then I'm like in my apartment a lot, just like editing and stuff. And then another layer to that is my finances. I also don't want to be reckless with my money and just go out spending it on like going out, on whatever. And so that's another thing too. It's just like I don't really feel like I have much to do here, and I feel like I'm just wasting my time. But at the same time, I don't want to give up on I guess like my dream or my desire to live abroad. Like that's been a dream of mine for a while, and I don't want to just like let go of that because it's not what I envisioned. And so I think right now I'm trying to just let go of like this vision that I have of how my life should be when living abroad. Because like I follow a lot of people who travel abroad, who travel and like live abroad or whatever, and I feel like their life looks like so fun and mine doesn't right now. And so I feel like I'm wasting, like what am I doing being abroad if I'm not having fun, So that's just been another challenge, is just like trying to let go of whatever expectation I had about what it was going to look like to live abroad. So yeah, that's one thing. So yeah. And then also, it's hard to be sad while being in another country because of that expectation of like I should be having more fun, and then also because things are different and things are harder and things are less comfortable. And so on top of being sad, I'm outside of my comfort zone, and Mexico's more familiar to me now, but it's still a little bit unfamiliar, especially since like I moved recently, and so I'm still like trying to get used to the area I'm in. So it's like little things like going to the grocery store, wanting to get stuff, and then the grocery store not having it, and then having to go to like 2 other stores in order to get what I'm looking for, or just trying to find something or trying to communicate with somebody and it taking forever for me to just like form a sentence because, well, it doesn't take me that long. I'm really going to stop downplaying my Spanish because I think that's one of the hindrances in me not getting better, is me continue to tell myself that I'm not good. But language barrier, like sometimes if you're like having a bad day or you're frustrated about something, the last thing you want to do is try to like talk to somebody in another language. I just sometimes want to speak and go, but I can't do that here. I have to like actually think about how to articulate things in Spanish. So that's another thing. So just like, yeah, being abroad and being sad and struggling and like having a tough season, it's just hard. And I guess I don't want to, I don't know. I think maybe I might see it like as a failure if I were to leave Mexico. But again, I'm not doing anything unless God tells me to. If God tells me to go, then it's not a failure. Like, I was obedient in coming here. It might just mean that like I got all that I was meant to get out of coming here. But I do think a part of me like doesn't want to leave until I guess I feel like I have something substantial to, I don't know. But yeah, so that's one thing. That's one layer. There was something else I was about to say and I forgot. Yeah, and another reason why I'm not leaving is that I don't know where I would go. Like, I don't think that me relocating somewhere else is going to completely take away this like sadness that I've been feeling. And I think that that would just be me running from my feelings and my emotions, and I don't want to do that. Going home is not like the first option for me because I feel like home is too comfortable, and I don't want to be that comfortable, you know? Like, I just can't envision going home. There's nothing for me there, minus my family. Like, I go home, I visit, I see them, but I don't really see me going home. That's not what I want to do. I also don't have a church community at home, so don't really want to do that. And then I consider like moving somewhere else in the States, but the issue with that is I don't really have the money to do that at this moment. It's like pretty cheap for me to live in Mexico right now, and yeah, I think I would need to figure out my income before trying to move to like another state. And as far as like moving to another country, that's just not gonna make it better because, as I just mentioned, like it's like living in another country is not easy. There's a lot of like layers to it. It can be hard and challenging and frustrating to be there and not be in the best headspace. And so that just doesn't make any sense to me either. I also just really feel like I'm kind of on a time clock here. I'll be honest. Okay, so I have probably about $2,500 left in my savings account. I started with 13,000, so yeah, it's really dwindling. And yeah, I just feel like I'm on a time clock. That's like one thing that's like so hard for me is just figuring out how to, right, I guess it's just like figuring out faith, right? So like I had faith by coming here to Mexico without really knowing why or what God was going to lead me to. But like that was just the first step. And so now I'm having to figure out like how to have faith to stay here if it's within God's will, and how to have like faith that he's going to help like provide or like lead me to more income. And as I mentioned before, like I keep mentioning this, like I don't want to make moves without consulting God, or like, and I don't want to step into anything that I don't feel like is from God. Like, so that's just kind of what I've been struggling with. I've been struggling with like trying to figure out how I'm going to make money. And yeah, like I said, I'm trying the whole casting thing, but that's not like something that I expect to be immediate money. It's kind of just something like I have to like keep on trying at stuff and then like book jobs and then shoot the jobs, and then like it's a process. It's not something that's going to be immediate. And then like I know I could look for like job work online. My thing is like I don't want to be in the house all day. I'm already kind of in the house a lot. I want something that's going to like get me like around people and like socializing and just like out. But like the issue with that and being in Mexico is that there's only so many jobs that I can really get without having a work visa here. And so yeah, that's just like another thing. I really struggle with just figuring out when to move and when to stay still. When I'm staying still, I just feel like I'm not doing enough and like I'm being lazy. And that's really not it. I just don't, I'm very particular about the things like I put my energy towards. And I don't want to put my energy towards something that's not beneficial to me, or that its only benefit is money. But yeah. So again, I'm just like, I guess the hard part is just like trying to stay in alignment with God, but like not understanding where like money is going to come from, or like not understanding like what the future is going to look like. And so I do get worried a lot, but I'm just trying to balance like not moving out of emotion, not moving on my own understanding, and like trying to lean on God, trying to like just pray and like focus on what he wants me to do. But like, I don't know, I guess sometimes what God wants you to do is not what the practical thing is. And so that's just hard. It's hard to like navigate, okay, God, like I'm just gonna wait on you. And it's it's hard to navigate like, okay, I want to wait on God, I want to be in his will, I'm gonna just pray and I'm gonna wait what comes from it. And but like at the same time, I know I need to make some sort of action, and it's just like I don't know what action to make. And so I don't know. That's like really the thing. Like I just don't know. I don't know what step to make. I don't know what move to make. I don't know if I should stay still, if I should like work. I just don't know. And I feel like being in Mexico, my options are slimmer. Like if I was at home, I feel like I would have gotten like a part-time job by now just to like get some money. But again, that's not something I can do here because of like work visas and stuff. But I also don't want to move home. But I barely want to stay here at this point. But God hasn't told me to go anywhere, so I just don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do, and that really just contributes to my sadness because I don't understand what, like, it's just weird. Okay, so like God led me to come here, right? Like he answered my prayer and like building my faith and like church community, all of that stuff. And so I guess it's sometimes hard to like understand like, okay, like I feel like I heard you, right? Like I feel like you told me to come to Mexico, but now I'm here and I'm like feeling very lost and very sad, and it's like, what do I do? And it's just like I don't know what to do right now. And so it's just really hard. But in me like thinking realistically, I guess I'm putting myself on a time clock in my head, and because I just know that like I'm not financially, I'm not going to be able to stay here much longer. So that makes me a little bit like worried and anxious, and that makes me a little nervous and anxious, and I have to like try to check myself to just make sure that I'm not making moves and decisions out of emotion. That's what like I'm really trying to learn this season. And so I'm really just trying to remain patient. I am trying to see whatever God wants me to gain or develop out of this season. I am trying to just keep my perspective very spiritual and like not, and just try to work myself out of like this sadness and like all of these emotions that I'm feeling right now. One thing I do know is that like my faith really is strengthening. I am having to like lean on and trust in God more, and I know like living a life as a Christian, as a believer, that this is just kind of like a part of it. You have to like go through rough seasons in order to like strengthen your faith, in order to grow closer to God, in order to learn more about yourself. Like perseverance produces all this stuff. So I'm just trying to remind myself of that. I'm trying to like remain connected to God, and I'm just trying to do stuff that are just trying to think more spiritually, you know. So, but it's hard. I'm not gonna like act like it's easy, but that's kind of just like what I've been trying to do. So yeah, on top of like just trying to make those like little steps, little adjustments, that's kind of like what life is, right? Ugh. That's kind of what life is like for me right now. It's not very fun, and I don't really see a good solution out right now. I think really what I have to do is kind of just sit in my feelings right now and do different things to try to get myself out of it. And so one thing I am going to do is I'm going to try to go to more like social events that align with what I'm trying to do. So, or align with my goals a little bit more. So for example, there's a group that meets up every week and they do like language exchange and play games. And so like if you're trying to learn a language, you can like kind of connect with somebody who might be trying to learn your language, and y'all kind of do a language exchange while doing a fun activity. So there's that. There's a group chat that I'm a part of on WhatsApp. It's like a creative group chat, and so I'm trying to look at that a little bit more to see if things come up for me to go to kind of make more like creative connections here. What else? Oh, I mentioned in another video that I'm wanting to like try to start doing castings and stuff. That process hasn't been like as fast as I want it to be. I've been kind of waiting to connect with a friend of mine to like really work out trying to sign to an agency, but I have taken pictures, and I think what I'm gonna do is start going to some of the castings with my friends to see kind of like what it's like to like get a feel of the whole process of what it's like to like go to a casting and like try out for a commercial or shoot or whatever. And so I'm gonna like do that to just kind of get a feel for it and see if it's even something that I want to do. So those are kind of little things that I'm gonna try to start doing to, again, just try to like get myself out of this sad season that I'm in. But I feel like that's about it. I just really want to come on here and talk about the ways that I'm struggling. I don't know if I was really clear because like I said, it's more than one thing, so it's hard for me to just come on here and be like, I'm sad because of this. It's really just like a combination of things. But again, like I really just want to make sure that I am being honest about my experience and my journey and not just showing like the good parts. So this was me talking about the not so good parts. But I will continue to like record and stuff. I've been taking, but I'll continue to like record and stuff and kind of keep you guys updated and continue sharing the realistic part of like moving abroad and all of that. So, and also like my faith and like all of that, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. Listening to me ramble. I might even re-record this because I don't know if I made any sense, but maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, talk to you guys later.